Alright, so we are solving equations now that involve combining like terms. First thing, write your name on here, just in case it doesn't end up in your notebook. And it is second hour. Okay, a few notes. We combine the coefficients of our variables by adding. There were times where you probably thought of it as subtracting, and that's because you were adding a negative, and instead of thinking of 6 plus negative 2, you just did 6 minus 2, and that's completely fine. So you can think of it as subtracting if you're adding a negative, but essentially you're combining by adding. Then, you also need to combine your constants by adding. Thank you. Okay. The entire time you are doing that, the entire time you are combining, you need to make sure that you're paying attention to your positives and your negatives. And then the last thing is, if there are parentheses, distribute first. Don't wait to distribute first. You can't combine with something that's in those parentheses until after you've distributed. Alright, so the first two problems on here are problems where all we have to do is combine. There's no distributing that needs to happen. So we're going to start with these two. We've got 9x plus 4 minus 12x plus 7 equals negative 10. Before you worry about the equals negative 10, treat it just like how you treated those problems on your puzzle. We're just combining the 9x and negative 12x. So we can think about that as 9 plus negative 12 or 9 minus 12. Either way, we get negative 3x. And then we're combining together this 4 and this 7. 4 plus 7 is 11. And then from here, now we can put back our equals negative 10. And it is smooth sailing from there, because this is just a normal two-step equation. So our next step from here, we're going to get rid of that plus 11 by subtracting 11 from both sides. We're at negative 3x equals negative 10 minus 11 is negative 21. And then from there, we can divide both sides by that negative 3. And we will get x equals, this negative divided by a negative is positive. 21 divided by 3 is 7. Okay, any questions there? Hey, moving on then. The next one, same concept. Combine together your x's, combine together your constants. So 3x minus 8x. We can think about that as 3 plus negative 8, or I think it's easier to just think about it as 3 minus 8. 3 minus 8 is going to give us negative 5. So I've got negative 5x. And then negative 5 plus 2. I owe you $5. I'm only able to pay you 2 back. I still owe you $3. So that's negative 3. That is equal to 12. Okay, we are going to add 3 to both sides of our equation. We have negative 5x on the left. On the right side, 12 plus 3 is 15. I think I'm going to sneeze. Maybe I'm not. Okay. And then from there, to get x by itself, we're going to divide both sides by that negative 5. So we'll get x equals 15 divided by negative 5, which is negative 3. Groovy. Any questions right now? Okay, we are going to move on to our next 2 problems, which is when we add in the distributing. So we have to distribute first, then combine like terms, then it's just a normal equation. So now we're making it to 4-step equations. Once you get past 2-step equations, you don't call them 4-step equations and 5-step equations and 6-step equations. But these equations happen to have 4 steps. So our first step is to distribute. So 2/3 times 3x. We've got a couple ways to do that. We can do it in our brain. We can think, okay, well, if 1/3 of 3 is 1, then 2/3 of 3 is going to be 2. Or we can do it in our calculator. In a calculator, you would type 2 divided by 3 times 3. And you get 2. So I've got 2x there. And then 2/3 of 6. 2/3 of 6. Well, 1/3 of 6 is just 2. So 2/3 of 6 is 4. And 2 divided by 3 times 6. We could also do it in our calculator. 2/3 of 6 is 4. So I've got 2x plus 4 here. Minus 5 equals 7. Okay, from there, we have things that we can combine. We don't have 4 things, though. On the first 2 problems, we had 2 x's and 2 constants, and we can combine 2 together and 2 together. This one, the 2x has no one to combine with, so he will just stay by himself. And then the 4 and the minus 5 can combine together. 4 minus 5 is negative 1. And then that is still equal to 7. And then from here, we'll add 1 to both sides. We get 2x equals 7 plus 1 is 8. And we can divide both sides by 2. We'll get x equals 4. Oh, sorry, I'm off the screen there. Hey, any questions right now? Okay, so I would get done in 10 or 12 minutes. It's been 9.5. I gotta get done. Hey, very last problem. We are distributing the number in front of the parentheses to the things inside the parentheses. What number do we need to distribute? Negative 2. So because it's minus 2 there, that means it's minus 2 times both the 3x and the 9. So when you distribute it, think about it like a negative. So the 15x stays by itself, and then think negative 2 times 3x is negative 6x. Negative 2 times 9. Negative times positive is negative. 2 times 9 is 18. So it's minus 18 equals 27. So So I put this example on here specifically because that's kind of a weird little thing that happens. Okay, and then from here on this one, we are combining together the x's. So 15x and minus 6x combined together, which is 9x. And then negative 18 has no one to combine with, so he just stays negative 18. That is equal to 27. Okay, finish it out like a normal equation. Add 18 to both sides. You get 9x equals 27 plus 18 is 45. And then we can divide both sides by that 9. And we get x equals 45 divided by 9, which is 5. Okay, these can get glued in your notebook. Remember, we need to be gluing front, back, front, back. So, depending on whether you're on a front or a back right now, I'm on a front. I had 1.4 from here yesterday. I'm going to put 1.5 right here. And by yesterday, I mean Tuesday. Okay, I'm going to stop this recording. I didn't really need to record me gluing.